जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा जय जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Haraye Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Hari Haraye Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudha. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohai. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohai. Hari Haraye Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudha. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohai. Oh Hari Haraye Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Patita Pavana Gaura Hare. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribhajagacharya Shtottara Satasri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Badadas Raghunath Shada Goswami Prabhu ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Vraja Bhumi Vrindavan Dham ki Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki Gangamai Yamunamai Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani ki Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Shri Shri Radha Madana Mohan ki Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki, Lakshmi Nrsimha Swami ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitya Gaur Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Give some grantha, can read Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading today from Bhagavad Gita. The chapters and the shloka chosen is Chapter 8, Text 7. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mam anusmara yudhyacha Mai arpita mano buddhir Mam e vaishyasi shamsayah Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mamanusmara yudhyacha Mayarpito mano buddhir Mame vaishyasya samshayah Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mamanusmara yudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhir Mame vaishyasi asamshayah Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mamanusmara yudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhir Mam evaishyasya samshayah. Anyone wants to chant? Anybody wants to chant?
Mamanusmara yudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhir Mamevasya samsayah.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mam anusmara yudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhir Mame vaishyasya samshayah.
Mamanusmara yudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhir Mame vaishyasya samshayah. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mamanusmara yudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhir Mame vaishyasya samshayah.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Mamanusmara yudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhir Mame vaishyasya samshayah.
Tasmat, therefore, sarveshu, at all, kaleshu, times, mam, me, anusmara, go on remembering, yudhya, fight, cha, also, mayi, unto me, arpita, surrendering, manaha, mind, buddhi, intellect, mam, unto me, eva, surely, eshyasi, you will attain, asamshayah, beyond a doubt. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Please repeat after me. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without doubt. Purport. The instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. one can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's names, one will be transferred to the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, without a doubt. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I am Bhaktivinoda Swami and I am from South India. I have some responsibilities in South India and I also travel in different places. And I'm very happy to be here in ISKCON Silicon Valley, like I mentioned, for the first time in this location. Today's shloka that's been picked up is very relevant to all of us, and it's one of the most important discussions going on in the world. How to be present in the now. Mindfulness. How to be here or how to be on what you're doing. And this is ancient advice on that. But nobody's going to follow that so easily. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. Very important instruction. Fight and think of me. This is multitasking advice by Krishna. And he said, not many, just 2 tasks. Think of me and fight. It's not one of those easy things to do, especially for Arjuna. Arjuna had the very great daunting task of fighting his relatives, people whom he knew from when he was very young. Bhishma would keep him on his lap, smell his head, pet him and talk to him. And Kripacharya, Dronacharya, they were all instructors, his teachers. You can just imagine when you're a very young kid and you're being taught A, B, C, how to use the potty, how to do this, how to do that and everything, and then you are staged in war against him. And Prabhupada said, it's not easy devotional service for Arjuna. Because he is up in arms against those people who taught him, brought him up, educated him and counseled him. Is it easy to go to war against them? Very difficult. Imagine you have to fight your mother, father, uncle, brother, sister, and you're standing up in arms, and you're very good at war, and you're so good with your bow and arrow that you shoot, you will get the target and their relatives above you. And you're sure going to kill them. That type of service, Prabhupada said, Arjuna had. He said it's no ordinary devotional service. Shooting people, chopping off their heads, impaling people, driving spears and swords into their tummies and twisting it. Blood and gore. That was his devotional service. Not going to some office and sitting down in front of a computer, pressing a few buttons with the tiny thumbs and fingers you have, and then achieving with a click of a mouse some great success. This is real job. And Krishna was right next to him telling, do it. No wonder Arjuna had all sorts of excuses for it. Put yourself in the position. In the first chapter, it was all excuses. Why we shouldn't do that. Number 1, number 2, number 3. He had all sorts of reasons. He tried to wriggle out of it. Krishna gave him very good hearing. He didn't say a word. He heard it all. And then he waited for the moment. With all conditioned souls do that. They, whine and say all sorts of things and finally they surrender. I did that, I am this happened, that happened, he is wrong, this, everything. Finally they cool down. When they become a little introspective. So after saying everything that he wanted to say about Dharma and how it is not dharmic for me to fight my relatives, and how the consequence will be this, and this will be the repercussion, this will be this is, etc. Therefore, I throw my Gandiva. I can't fight. Having done all that, Krishna just looked at him, and it's mentioned that he smiled. Very cryptic smile on his face. And Arjuna knew something is really wrong with me. I am not right. It's not the least bit convincing to my dear friend Krishna. He knows I'm up to something. I'm not actually speaking what's touching my heart. So therefore he says, Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Having said everything I said, I just want to surrender to you. Instruct me. Take me as your disciple. And then Krishna took over. In management, they tell you don't advise unless you asked for. Right? You don't advise unless you're asked to advise. And Krishna followed that. He's the founding father of that principle. He didn't speak. He just watched Arjuna struggle and wriggle and do all sorts of things and rationalize. And then finally when he surrendered and he said, I can't do it. Then he called him a fool. The first shloka is Prajnavadhamscha bhashase gatasum agatasumscha nanu sochanti pandita. Oh Pandit, I heard you speaking wonderful shlokas from the Vedas and from instructions and that and Dharma and everything. And then finally you cry and lament. Oh Pandit, why is it you're in a position where you have to speak everything like a Pandit and then finally you don't know what to do and you cry? Right? So, this is our situation. We know things and we don't know also. We actually don't know, but we seemingly know. So Krishna pointed that out and then he gave him instructions. And one of the key instructions he gave him was, always think of me. This is a great challenge for all of us. And we are wondering, what's Krishna up to? How is it possible to think of Krishna and fight? Ma manusmara yudhyacha. How is it possible to think and fight? Right? But it's possible. It's possible because we can be doing those things ritualistically, mechanically and think of so many things. We are so used to it. Who said it's not possible? They do it all the time. Kids do it all the time. We do it all the time. You go to office and do this, especially if you're one of those regular jobs, mechanical, ritualistic, repetitive jobs. And then you're having all sorts of thoughts in you when you repeat it. You become so expert at doing it. And then you become so expert at giving excuses every time you make a mistake that nobody knows what you're doing and what you're not doing. Only you know. You can cover it up so fast and you're so good at it and you go boom, 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 boom and everybody says, what about that? Oh, it's okay, it's like that. But you make mistakes, you do all sorts of things, you cover it up. But many times while you're doing it, you're ritualistically, mechanically doing it and you're thinking of so many things. So many things. Lord Chaitanya gave us the example of Paravyasinini Nari Vyagra Graha Karmashu Tad Swadayanti Antara Navasanga Rasayanam. The household lady, Paravyasinini Nari, she is actually thinking of another man whom she has an affair with. And naturally, he will really occupy her mind. But Vyagraha Graha Karmashu, with great enthusiasm, she is rendering all her service for her husband, for her children, at home. Why? Because she is energized by this thought of the person she loves very much. Definitely more than the ritualistic husband and the kids and the household. A little diversion, a tangential diversion. Sometimes these things become more interesting and attractive to us, especially if your life is very mechanical. Vyagraha Graha Karmashu. Everything Graha Karma she does with great enthusiasm. Why? Tat Swadayanti Antar. She is swad, tasting some wonderful relationship inside. Remembering, association, tasting something very nice inside. Navasanga Rasayanam, new. Navasanga means new association. And Rasayanam, the rasa of it. Since she's tasting that, she can externally do very enthusiastically everything that you need to do. And this is how you can think of Krishna. By falling in love with Krishna, and you can enthusiastically do everything that you need to do. There is only one type of multitasking that Krishna is advising. Think of me and do everything else that you need to do. One task in that is the anchor. The anchor task is, think of me. Then you can do anything you want to do. You can let the boat get anchored on Krishna and then you can wander here, there, you won't go too far. But if there's no anchor, then the guys do multitasking. It's like, sailing and going around here, there with no anchorage. The problem with multitasking is it's not anchored on Krishna. But here Krishna is saying, think of me and you do what you want to do. You won't go too far. So here multitasking anchored on Krishna, try it. If you've made your life go around multitasking anchored on Krishna, devotees can do all sorts of things. All sorts of things. That's a secret. Arjuna did all sorts of things on the battlefield. Krishna was standing next to him. He was anchored on Krishna. It was not difficult. Because he's sitting next to him and telling him what to do. It's not that it was easy to fight, like I mentioned to you. So even in our lives, if we somehow learn to fix ourselves in Krishna, then you'll be capable of doing any material activity. It's nothing to do it. Any task in front of you, including the type of task that Arjuna has got. A very difficult task of fighting your relatives, killing them. That's possible if you're fixed in Krishna. It's not that we're going to be faced with those situations and difficulties, don't worry. It's not that we have to, because we follow Bhagavad Gita, we have to exactly do what Arjuna did. Go around shooting your relatives. I follow the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. Of course, you need to fight also, by the way. And especially with relatives sometimes. In real life situations, you get into all these things. So if you're fixed in Krishna, it's easy to fight. It's easy to face challenges. It's easy to face many difficulties. That's actually mindfulness. Mindfulness means becoming mindful of Krishna. Everything else is taken care of. Everything else is taken care of. Root deeply inside. When we are actually Krishna conscious, then externally you can indulge or do any type of thing. When we are not fixed inside, then we can get swept off superficially by Maya, by Krishna's powerful material energy. That's the sum and substance of what Krishna is trying to tell. And like I mentioned, it was not that it was easy for Arjuna to fight. Mam anusmara yudhyacha. Thinking of Krishna and fighting. And it was not that Arjuna was tra-la-la-la and fighting. whistling and then, here is it, this is a lop for you. This is, yes, putting earphones and fighting. Hearing the latest kirtan and then. It was not doing that. It was not so easy. But he had to really face challenges. Even within that, with Krishna next to him, he saw his son Abhimanyu dead. Treachery. He had to face all sorts of things. And Krishna was also advising him, do this. When Karna was lifting his chariot and he was in a difficult situation, Krishna told him, now you shoot him. He said, what? This against Dharma. To hell with Dharma. I'm going to be speaking in the 18th chapter, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. But this is a prelude to that. To hell with Dharma. Kill him now. Because he's actually better than you in war. This is the only way to get him. And I am telling you, I am Dharma. Shoot him. And reluctantly, Arjuna shot him. You won't get him otherwise. And when he was told about Dharma, etc., there were some arguments and all that, you can see. So the point is that if we fix ourselves on Krishna, even what is seemingly adharmic can actually become the real Dharma. Although Krishna said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, at one point of time in the Bhagavad Gita, I come when there is adharma, etc. But actually in the 18th chapter he said, to hell with Dharma. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam. The business is to surrender to me. That's the only dharma. And all these external dharmas are meant for you to come to that point. If it doesn't allow you to come to the point, dump it. Dump it. It's me. And I'm sitting next to you. I'm telling you, shoot him. So go ahead, shoot him. That's dharma. So when you chant Hare Krishna and you perform the topmost dharma for the age, you will be guided as to what is proper dharma all the time in all your activities. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, at all times. And I want to tell you that the preceding shloka and the succeeding shloka, very interesting to know why this whole topic has come up, because Arjuna is questioning what should one do at the time of death. And Krishna has mentioned Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. At the end of his life, quit your body thinking of me. And whatever state of being, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajati ante kalevaram, whatever consciousness you bear at the time of death, that situation you will get. Therefore think of me always. Tasmat means therefore. So this is qualified by these two other shlokas, which say that dying, and number two, dying in consciousness of Krishna, remembrance of Krishna, and therefore Krishna is saying, better to always think of me. So if you die thinking of me, chanting Hare Krishna, then you'll get me. Then you'll get me. And he's saying this in the battlefield, and he's going to fight thinking of Krishna. Ma manusmara yudhyacha. It's a difficult thing to do, to fight a war. War means you get angry. The Kshatriyas scream all sorts of expletives at each other. You dog, I'll send you to Yamaloka now. My arrows will get you. You are that, you are this, and take this, take that. It's not, like I said, easy to fight, without anger. Tra-la-la-la. It's passionate. It's Rajogun. It's passionate. You got to be passionate to shoot somebody and kill him. It's not like playing darts on a board. You're not shooting darts. You're shooting arrows that get the target and kill the person. He's dead. Right? He's dead. It's not full of passion. And Arjuna was engaged in that type of activity by Krishna. You should actually put yourself in that scene. It's easy to read Bhagavad Gita, especially when we're not involved in the war. At vicarious participation, you say, second-hand participation. From the gallery you're watching, oh, Arjuna, you did good shot. Not very good. We are not involved. We're not involved. But these things are going to happen to you in life. You have to be involved. These principles will come into focus. You have to get involved. And you will see yourself having Arjuna moments in your life. You may not have to fight the great Mahabharata war, but you are fighting wars inside. Yes or no? Yes. How many are? Raise your hands. Yes, thank you for being with me. You are fighting wars inside. And are you not fighting wars outside too? Yes, actually it's war all around. Whoever said it's peaceful? Who is thinking of peace? It's war inside, it's war outside. And there are so many people Maya sends in the name of friends, relatives, everything, who actually may turn out to be your greatest challenges. Like Chanakya Pandit said, your enemies are very close to you. Rinakarta Pita Shatru. Your father who created a debt for you and passed away, he is your enemy from previous life. Sorry to say, these are realities. Rinakarta Pita Shatru. Because father worked very hard, my son, I'm doing everything for you, and took a huge loan, had a heart attack, left. And the son doesn't know what to do. My gosh. And all those guys come, give me the money. Right on the day of the cremation, all of these guys will come. Feeling very sad, and the next day, within the next 10-12 days, after the ceremonies are over, they'll drop in. Let's have the money back. And then your life is like, throughout your life, you got to earn money to pay back. And then you're wondering, whatever did my father do? Rinakarta Pita Shatru. Bharya Rupavati Shatru. Your wife is very beautiful. She is your enemy from previous life. Bharya Rupa. Some may not like to hear this, but it's not me. It's Prabhupada quoted this. Bharya Rupavati Shatru. Have a beautiful wife, then everybody is going to look at her. Not only you. And then every time everybody looks at her, and every time your wife also looks like as though everybody is looking at me, it's fine. You're going to feel all sorts of things inside you. And then all those anxieties are because from previous life she's come to give it to you. Whatever you did to her, you know best. Bharya Rupavati Shatru, Putra Shatru Apanditaha. And if you have a son who is a fool, he is also an enemy from previous life. He's a fool. And sometimes, go to these real rich houses in India. Sometimes we go to meet these people, and there's somebody, a retarded kid comes, his biological age is like 40. His mental age is 6. Papa! He will be sucking his thumb and drooling all over, and he'll come and hug his father while we are talking to him, and you can see the father's face really go small. He's got a son who's like this. And he's got a huge fortune. And his son is, and what can he do to that son? He's got affection for his son. But his mental age is 6, his physical age is 42. And he sits on his lap and then drools all over his father. And we are all standing there as guests wondering what to do. Very difficult situation. The father is also feeling all sorts of things. Beta, okay, beta, sit down, beta. It's really awkward. And you can see him. He suffers this every day. Chanakya Pandit said, this is your relative from previous times. You did something to him. He has come to give it to you. This is the war you have to fight. Everybody has got his baggage. Right? Yes or no? Yes. This is reality. So we need to fight wars. Don't think that we are only having a vicarious participation in Bhagavad Gita. You actually have a war. And if you don't know about the war, you definitely are a fool. There is a war going on, by the way. Inside you, outside you, around you. And you better be aware of it. Prabhupada said, if you're not aware of Maya, illusion, then you're very happy. Foolishly happy. But if you become aware of the reality, I am spirit soul. This world is illusion. I am not this body. I don't belong here. Then he said, at that moment, you have declared war on illusory energy. And you be prepared. Otherwise, koto nidra jao maya pishachira kole. What does that mean? That means you're lying on the lap of Maya and she's giving you a feeding bottle and you're sucking it dry and you're very happy. Everything is fine. In total forgetfulness. And you're happy. She's keeping you happy. Why? Because in total amnesia. You don't know who you are, where you are, who is Krishna, where do you belong, what's your ID, nothing you know. And you're happy. That's what is foolish happiness. So Bhagavatam says there are two types of people who are happy, the total fool and the self-realized person. In between, everybody is miserable. When you get to know a little, misery starts. We tell them, welcome to the world of Hare Krishna. As times go. So remembering Krishna is most important. Krishna, very briefly, Prabhupada is stating wonderful things. He says, remembering Krishna means chanting Hare Krishna. That's the way to remember Krishna now, in this day and age. And chanting Krishna names will transfer one to the supreme planet Krishna Loka. You may believe it, you may not. But it actually does it to you. You may not be conscious of it. But Prabhupada is saying, the moment you chant Hare Krishna, you're in touch. Your consciousness may be too low to be able to recognize that. But it doesn't matter. You chant Hare Krishna, keep chanting Hare Krishna. And gradually, as cleansing occurs, you get to know that you're connected. You get to take advantage of it. This is supreme yoga. Chanting the holy name and connecting with Krishna. It is true. It brings you into reality. And many, many great devotees have done that. Sometimes devotees come and ask me, Maharaj, I chant Hare Krishna and my mind wanders. I said, very good. You've already gone up one notch above. I said, how? You've at least understood that your mind is wandering. Previously, you didn't even know it. You were not even bothered about it. Can't you see it? You're progressing. Now that you know, my mind is wandering. Oh, really? You came to know about it. Good. Congratulations. That's the one step that you've known. That's why Krishna is saying, Chanchalahi mana Krishna pramati balavat dridam. Arjuna is saying, and Krishna is saying immediately, Asamshayam mahabaho manas durnigraham chalam. And no doubt the mind is like that. Because I made it. I know about it. I fabricated it. I am the engineer. But since I made it, I'll tell you, abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. You practice and you become all right. You get fixed up. And here Krishna is saying, render service and remain fixed in Krishna. Sometimes people wonder what service is. in the initial stages we think. Service means I chant Hare Krishna, I read Prabhupada's books, I worship the deity. Basic service. But Krishna is not teaching him deity worship here. Krishna is not telling him, read my Bhagavad, learn a few shlokas and chant them on the battlefield. It's not, it's hardcore service. He's asking you to go headlong, crash into the illusory energy and fight, and I'll be behind you. This is what is really service. Advanced devotees, they know that they're not satisfied with just chanting Hare Krishna and remaining at home. They're not satisfied with just worshipping the deity and remaining in Vrindavan. They go out and perform human welfare. They try to fight the illusory energy and introduce Krishna consciousness into others. That's when Maya becomes really tough on you. And that's why you back off. So I don't want all these things, I want to just chant japa. And people are bobbing in this area between this and that. No, I just want to do my sadhana nicely. I don't want all that. So there's politics there. There's this thing happening there, this happening there, this happening. I don't want to keep away. And this way Maya scares you. Whew, if she blows, keep away, buddy. This is not your area. I know you. I know all the desires in your heart. But Arjuna is not like that. He is a warrior. Prabhupada is not like that. He is a warrior. Great acharyas, we're celebrating 1,000 years of Ramanuja in South India. He is a warrior. He had 700 sannyasi disciples. He was preaching so much and fighting against Maya. You know, he could preach so much that his previous guru became his disciple. Yadav Prakash's mother became Ramanujacharya's disciple. You know, Yadav Prakash, he was teaching him, he was a Mayavadi guru and he was teaching him when he was very young. And he was constantly arguing with him and giving different interpretations, matchingly different. And then finally they tried to kill him and all that, and he ran away. Ramanuja ran away. That's a nice story. But later he became such a great acharya, and Yadav Prakash's mother became Ramanujacharya's disciple. And so Yadav Prakash's mother came and told Yadav Prakash, don't think that he's just your disciple and you don't have to worry about it. You should know that he's a great representative of Krishna. You must surrender to him. Don't be under the impression that I was once upon a time his teacher. I am Guru. And Yadav Prakash thought about it a lot, heard Ramanujacharya and knew that he was a class apart. He had complete realization of the absolute truth. So he came and surrendered to him and told him that accept me as your disciple. That was the preaching of Ramanujacharya. So I'm giving you examples of devotees who were fiery warriors, soldiers, because we're talking about war. We all have to fight a war, inside, outside, around. And Arjuna is being told by Krishna, this is the way to fight the war. Tasmad sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. How many of you are from Andhra? Normally all over the US I see it's Ito Andhra, Ato Andhra, Yato Yato Yami Tato. I was in Seattle and I kept asking everybody, you must be from Andhra. I said, yeah. You must be from Microsoft. Yeah. You must be from Andhra. Yeah. And I never went wrong, 90% of the time. I'm going to tell you an Andhra story. Would you like to hear it? Yes. In keeping with this, and we'll finish. Excuse me. You see, this is a very famous, all Andhrites know this story. This is a story of Bhadrachala Ramadas. Have you heard? Anybody heard that? Some of you, okay. I like the story. It describes what a devotee goes through, how he depends on Krishna and sails through. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. And within that is a greater rasa of relationship between Krishna and the devotee who is doing that service. Like Bhishma was doing an amazing service of being on the opposite side and shooting arrows at Krishna. Shooting arrows at Krishna because he knew Krishna is protecting Arjuna. And Arjuna is his very dear bosom pal, plus being a devotee. Bhakto sime sakacheti rahasyam hi etat uttamam. Because you are my sakha, you are my devotee, I am giving you this great secret. He knows they are very close together. So if I get at Arjuna, I will really disturb Krishna. So he was really firing fiery arrows. Bhishma's arrows are not ordinary arrows. Bhishma defeated Parashuram. And Parashuram is a person who defeated Kartyavira Arjuna. And that Kartyavira Arjuna kept Ravana on a leash, like they keep a dog on leash. This is there in Purana story. Ravana did not know who he was. He fooled around, he came and attacked him and just tied him up and kept him like a dog. Jump, fall, jump. Kartyavira Arjuna did this to Ravana. And Ravana was so powerful. And this Parashuram defeated that Kartyavira Arjuna and just lopped off all his hands. And that Parashuram was defeated by Bhishma. This is Bhishma, very powerful. And he is egged by Duryodhana that you are very partial to them. So he's all sorts of things in his head. He's angry. And he has to prove he's a Kshatriya. Plus he has to be loyal to his side. Plus Krishna is on the opposite side. Plus Arjuna was his dear kid sitting on his lap. You can imagine the amount of things inside. What a war Bhishma must be fighting inside and outside. And then in the beginning of the war, Yudhishthira comes to him and says, take your blessings, I want to be victorious. And he's forced to bless him and said, you'll be victorious. And then Duryodhana sees him, gets angry. What the hell are you doing? You're blessing. I'm only giving blessings. He sought my blessings. I'm his elder. I should bless him. You didn't. Duryodhana never sought blessings from Bhishma. He was on his own side. So you can imagine the makeup of Bhishma. And he was fighting the war. So all these things, fighting a war does not mean a physical war. Sometimes the wars inside are far, far more difficult. And social wars that we fight with relatives and everything, and social situations are also very difficult. So this is a story about a devotee, such devotee. His name was Ramdas because he was a great devotee of Ramachandra. And during the Mughal times, this is a real life story. You can go and see all these things, artifacts, describing these things in a place in Hyderabad, in Golconda Fort and in Bhadrachala. So Bhadrachala Ramadas, he was called. Ramadas was a very simple guy. He was a devotee. He was not really very good in the outside world, making money and business and everything. So he was not up to the mark. And his uncle was a collector with the king, one of the collectors with the king, closer to the king. So his relatives got some influence and pulled strings and told him, why don't you get your nephew some job, You got some connections in the government. So get him a job. So this guy did that and appointed him as a collector in this place called Bhadrachala in Andhra Pradesh. So this Ramadas took his new job. Really doesn't have much experience with the job. He's just a devotee. And he got his new job as a collector. So he came to Bhadrachala. Simple guy. Came to Bhadrachala. He's just sitting Rama's names all the time. So he came to Bhadrachala and they gave him a grand welcome, all the citizens in Bhadrachalam. Oh, we got a new collector, we can expect some good things to happen. They didn't expect roads and bridges to be built at those days. They just wanted their food and little habitat they had, things proper. So they welcomed him in a wonderful, thank you. It's warm water? It's okay. They welcomed him in a dilapidated Ramachandra temple, which was the main temple in the place. And everybody came there, and then they welcomed him, and he saw that the deity's Sita doesn't have any clothing. Ramachandra hardly has a garland, a long string with 2 flowers on it. And he's standing with his bow. And then he said, "No, my dear Lord, why are you like this?" And so, "Why you people don't look after Ramachandra?" He said, "That's all we have. I mean, we don't have anything to wear on ourselves." What to speak of Ramachandra? We are pretty, we're waiting for you. Maybe you could do something. Then he said, first thing we should do is to set right our service to Ramachandra. Automatically everything will become all right. And so he went about collecting money. He's a collector. See, he collected taxes. He collected all the taxes, and then he happily didn't remit it. He said, first thing we should do is look after Ramachandra. He's a devotee, so he could think of anything else. This is the meaning of saying, Ma Manusmara Yudhya cha, Ma Manusmara Collection cha. After that, I will remit after doing Ma Manusmara. So he said, set the temple right. So he went about setting the whole construction paka. Then he started decorating the Lord. Then he started giving him a silk dress. Then he started giving Sita a fantastic sari. He got and bought the best things, and everybody was happy. Then he started having feasts, programs, Ramanavami, and the temple got decorated. Everything looked very opulent. People started coming. There was food, prasadam. There was, dancing, chanting, Ram Katha, everything going on. Everybody became happy. But this man was happily spending the government's money. And he was 100% thinking, I am doing right. This is what one should do. After all, if he gets money, he should spend it for Krishna. I mean, it's natural. So he's spending, but it was a Mughal regime. And everybody in the whole town was getting together with him, and they were behind him. Things started becoming better in the town. There was prosperity. People were happy, and everything was going. But whenever people are happy, there's always somebody who's unhappy. Somewhere around the corner, there is somebody whom you don't notice, who cannot be satisfied so easily. And he is unhappy because all are happy. Paradukha Sukhi. Not Paradukha Dukhi. Duryodhana, he was happy only when the Pandavas were miserable. That was his mindset. So sometimes people are not easy to satisfy. They're always a little twisted. So somebody didn't like the success of Ramadas, and he was becoming too popular. Everybody liked him. And he was a very genuine man and a devotee, and everything was good about him. It's too good to be true. So they wrote a complaint to the king, an anonymous note to the king saying, what the hell are you doing in this place? Are you getting your remittances? Something wrong in this place. So, king has got so many collectors all over the place, so he dispatched some of them and said, go check up the guy, bring him. So on one fine day when they were having a festival, there came 2 guys on horseback. They came and they said, who's Ramadas? Who's the collector here? They didn't even ask Ramadas, who's the collector here? And so is the collector. And there was a big festival going on, and he was speaking about it. Thank you. And they said, come here. Everybody went into hushed silence. Wow, what's happened? The minister sent some people. There's some auditors who have come. There's a modern equivalent. Some guys have come, income tax guys have come, auditors have come. Where is the money? And there was some conversation going on, and then he got handcuffed. Ramdas got handcuffed, and he was being taken. And everybody sat back. Oh gosh. And people in the town start talking. Simple people. They immediately said, I told you this was too good to be true. Good things don't last. And I knew that something was wrong. Then somebody said, I told you he was using all the government's money. Somebody said, this is very bad, it's illegal. Somebody said, no, it'll become all right. You just see, Ramachandra will protect his devotee. Somebody said, no, this is how things happen. I have seen Ramachandra devotee and all that. You have to keep on, all sorts of things that started speaking, generally disturbed. But he was taken to the king. But he went handcuffed, Rama, chanting Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman's glories, and he went there to the king. And the king asked him what happened, what's the remittances and all that. He said that everything I collected I spent for Ramachandra only. Simple guy. He said, I remitted it to the guy whom it belongs to. I spent it for him. I always thought this. The king said, what's wrong with this guy? They tell you Ramachandra and Lakshmana to bring the money, till then put him in the dungeon. Next, he's a small guy. So he went into the dungeon. In the dungeon, they had a stone dungeon, built of stone. They had a small gap with some links on that you can just see through, and they threw him some food. But Ramadas was very busy chanting the name of Rama and in communion with Ramachandra. He never got affected. He thought that, anyway, this is Ramachandra's game. So many things have happened in Ramayana, you don't know. And this will also happen. This will go on, and it'll all be my Lord Rama. He is putting me through something, part of his Leela. But, I'll be released and I'll go back, and there's Ram Navami coming, and we'll be able to do that. And he's busy with his service. He wants to get back. So he started standing, songs. He started writing Ramachandra and everything. And these guys said, why are you not eating what we're giving you? Then he said, why will I eat what you're giving me? You're Muslim guys who eat cow, and I'm going to eat what you're giving me? Idiot, you'll die otherwise, and our money will be lost. You got to eat something, keep alive. Then only we can get the money out of you. Then he said, I won't eat anything that you... So they gave him, okay, here is rice and some little salt. You do what you want with it. So there's no cooking and all that in the dungeon. So he would soak the rice in water for 24 hours. It'll swell up in water, and then he put some salt, mix it, and then offer it to Lord Ramachandra inside his dungeon. With his fingers, nails on the stone wall, he carved out Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And the light comes in the morning right through on the Lord. That time he will be dancing. He will offer, and then he will eat that water-soaked rice. There's a lot of description about him. And he would dance and chant, and every day he would pray to Ramachandra. And he said, release me. I want to go and do this for you. Actually, I made a diamond crown. I've given order for diamond crown for Ramanavami. Means it costs so costly, it must be. He's taken all the money and he's going to remit it and buy a diamond crown. And I want to offer it to you. And plus Sita, I've got a special crown. And then I've got this for Lakshmana. And I've got this for Hanuman. And it's going to be a great Ramanavami. Why don't you release me? Why don't you, let me to do that? And then he would write these wonderful songs and poetries and asking Ramachandra, I know you must be busy. I know Sita is this thing. I know in Ramayana and all the stuff he would say. And then I'm waiting to get out so that I can do this. Very heartfelt, sincere prayers. Even today those songs are sung. They are very famous. And he would chant the name of the Lord. And he would say, how sweet is your name. I remember this one. My father used to sing it when I was very young. O Rama, Ni Nama, Yenta Ruchira. Yenta Ruchira, Rama, Yenta Ruchira. O Rama, Ni Nama, Yenta Ruchira. He was absorbed saying, O Rama, your name is so tasty, so sweet. How tasty and sweet it is, Rama. What can I tell you? And he was enjoying the name. He's inside the prison house. He was in ecstasy. But nothing was happening. Ramachandra was not responding. It's months in the prison. So he became a little despondent. So why are you not taking me out from here? Right? And then he said, if I die, or if they kill me, they will speak bad about you. all the people I've preached to and everybody who's coming, they'll think, what's the use of worshipping Rama? Look what all he did. And finally the Mughal king killed him. Obviously Ramchandra is not so powerful. And they'll lose their faith in you. Please don't let them kill me. Then he said, better I commit suicide. So even if I have to die, I will commit suicide, that's better, so that the blame doesn't come on you and people's faith is not lost. So he was like mentally preparing to commit suicide so that Lord Ramachandra not get a bad name and people's faith will be preserved. He was thinking all these things. He was very busy. Then finally, after writing so much to Ramachandra and singing, nothing happened. So he said, but I never wrote anything to Sita. I didn't petition in a prayer, Sita. And she is my mother. She's the mother of the whole creation. I should write to Mother Sita. So he wrote to her a beautiful song. For some reason, your husband is not attending. He is not attending to my call. I know he is very busy. He got billions and billions of devotees. Who am I? A fig. I am a nobody. But I know you will attend to me because you're my mom. So why don't you ask him to release? I got so many things to do. And Sita, the scene shifts to the spiritual world now. Back in Ayodhya in the spiritual world, Sita receives this prayer from her child devotee, instantly attends to it. She said, wow, really? Why is he keeping you so long in the prison house? You're a devotee. You're Ramachandra's devotee. So she said, I'm going to go and ask him. Ramachandra was in a trance. He was smiling. He had a great mystical smile on his face. He was enjoying something very deeply. And here comes Sita, and she says, I mean, you may be in a trance, but I have to disturb you, it's emergency. And she sort of woke him up. And he said, my dear Sita, what I can do for you? She was very stern looking. He said, why you look like this? What happened? Your devotee Ramadas is in the prison and he has been petitioning you for so long. Why is it you're keeping him there? Then he smiled again, his cryptic smile, and said, my dear Sita, you are Lakshmi. In order to displace him from the prison and take him out, I need money. Only if you give me, I can do that. And instantly Sita, boom, 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 gave gold coins, bags, and said, I don't think that is the reason. Because any time you could ask me, order me, and here it is. Now tell me what is the real reason why you're keeping him there. Then Ramachandra said, now that you've cornered me, I can't say anything else. But my dear Sita, Ramadas is so dear to me. He's so close to me. And he writes those amazing prayers and poetries from the prison. They are so relishable. I thought I'd keep him for some time and enjoy. I'll keep him for some time. I know one day you're going to come up. Till then I thought that this would go on. And now that you have said this, it's over. It's over. And he summoned Lakshmana. And he said, come on, let's go, let's take all this and go. And Rama and Lakshmana became young teenagers, when they went with Vishwamitra, like that. And boom, they descended into the palace of the Mughal king. This is real life story. It actually happened. There's records of all these things, even archaeological records. They landed up there in the house, in the palace of the Mughal king. And they didn't land up in the outside waiting, knocking the door. This is the Supreme Lord. So he came into the palace. Might as well come right inside. Because it's emergency. Sita has said it. It's emergency. So they landed up there, and then the watchman said, who are you? So brilliant looking, effulgent in the dead of the night. They were illuminating the whole place. Said, who are you? Said, we are Ram and Lakshman. Tell the king. They said, okay. They just pushed him aside. He was already dazed. Pushed him aside and walked inside, and the king was coming out. What's the disturbance? He got out of his bed, and then it's mentioned that he saw them. Who are you? It's looking so bright, brilliant. Who are you? Then he said, I am Ram, this is Lakshman. Here is the money. And they put all the gold coins there on the table or some platform, and it split open and all the coins fell down. And the Mughal king, it's much, much more than what was supposed to be given to him. Here is your money. This is what you wanted. I am Ram, Lakshman. Then by Krishna's arrangement, this king recollected that I told that Ramadas, let Ram Lakshman come and give the money, then you can get out of the dungeon. Put him inside. So then he recollected, Ram Bhai, Lakshman Bhai. He said, Ram Bhai, Lakshman Bhai. And he understood this is Allah. He knew, because it's the same Allah he's worshipping. He knew, got very fascinated. And he was again stunned like the watchman. Rama Bhai, Lakshman Bhai. And then he said that please you release him. And I can write and give it to you. And Lakshmana tore from his dhoti, the border portion of it, and took the pen that was there and said, we, Ramadas, spent all the money in our service. Signed, Rama Lakshmana. And the king was Ramabhai Lakshmana, he was also out. So they took the cloth and went inside into the prison house and then threw it through that small hole in the dungeon. By that time, Ramadas, is grown hair like this for so many months together. You can't see his face, only his eyes, deadly looking eyes, full of tears. And he was getting ready to commit suicide. He had tied up his dhoti and he was going to die and say, Rama, Rama. And because I better die, otherwise you get a bad name. And at that time, that thing fell on his face, the cloth. Then he could smell it. This is Lakshmana's cloth. He knew instantly, and he was exulting and shouting in great joy, Rama has come. I know he will come. I know he'll protect me. And never lost that faith. She was leaped out in joy looking at that writing of Lakshmana, his own handwriting. Because of his absorption in Ramachandra, he knew everything and he knew this is Lakshmana's dhoti. He leaped out and he was dancing, and the king came inside, Ramabhai, Lakshman Bhai, Ramabhai, Lakshman Bhai, with all his people, his entourage of people, and he came inside open and said, I saw them, I saw Rama, Lakshmana. And then Ramadas was so happy to see the king say this. And the king told him, I want to see them again. I want to see them again. Then Ramadas said, I'll take you. And then the whole army and entire entourage of people came to the temple. Word spread around everywhere that Ramadas has been released. Rama and Lakshmana came and released them. And paid unlimited amount of money to the king. Everybody knew about it. So everybody was gathering in the temple, and Ramadas came there. He was looking really like a Stone Age guy. But he came along with the king, and he showed the king, this is Rama, Lakshmana, these are the people I served. They came and saw you. And the Mughal king offered obeisances. And he was so thrilled. He told Ramadas, I write in the name of the Lord all the lands around here. Never should be a time when you lack money for doing everything you want to do as a service for Ramachandra. That document is there even today, written by the king. He became a devotee of Lord Ramachandra because he knew this was Allah. If you go to Golconda Fort, the prison, and the crown, diamond crown made is on exhibit, archaeological exhibit, of course. Indian government is completely different. They put it on exhibit, and you can see all these writings on the wall, his prayers and everything. It's a real life story what I'm telling you. Happened right now, not very far back. Continuously thinking of the Lord. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. And the Lord is thinking, this guy, if I let him go and do his devotional service and be busy with Ram Navami and everything, but I want to relate with him, keep him in the prison. Kept him in the prison. It's an amazing story. So Krishna reciprocates. with your devotional service. Whatever you do for Krishna, Prabhupada has asked us to distribute his books, to establish temples, to give Krishna consciousness to others, to make your friends and relatives Krishna conscious, to practice Krishna conscious. Sometimes these things are very difficult things to do within the social situation we are in, within the personal situation that we are in. But if you go ahead and do it, thinking of Krishna, that is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sure enough, like Krishna says, you will go back to the planet of Krishna, Krishna Loka. Om Tat Sat. The time is 6 o'clock. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. You can announce. Questions? Anybody has got any question or even a comment?
I just thought there was a story in Ramayana when Hanumanji was in Sri Lanka trying to find Sita ji. He couldn't find Sita ji, and finally he realized that he had prayed to Rama but not to Sita ji. When he prayed to Sita ji, he immediately found that she was in the forest. So I think this is something very similar.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Appealing to Mother Sita. She is very merciful. Any question or any comment? Okay. Thank you. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.